Jen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues. Thank you for your letter. It was lovely reading your love-filled letter. Now we, the Pakistani government, say that we will not come to India for the World Cup. That's it. Now Saad Rizvi, the head of the Tehreek-e-Labbaik, Pakistan, wants Pakistan to attack Sweden. Just imagine. Jen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Some good news. You know what seems to have been going on in UK, in Canada, in the US and Australia and all the other places where these so-called Khalistanis are active. They've been going and they've been breaking into our consulates, high commissions, embassies. Protesting is okay. And they have their right to protest. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot indulge in terrorism, you cannot indulge in arson and violence, and that is the problem most Indians have with these so-called Khalistanis. I've already explained that there is nothing called Khalistan because a place called Khalistan does not exist. It's mostly in the mind of some deranged people who unfortunately, and it is India's enduring misfortune that they happen to be born in India or their parents happen to be born in India. Otherwise, there is nothing called Khalistan. It is the figment of the imagination of the Pakistani ISI and a few, people who are actually not fit to be called people. Having said that, on the 8th, that is yesterday, the so-called Khalistanis decided to take out a march everywhere. And they said that in most of the cities. Now, they are generally, and I'm being very upfront about it, ladies and gentlemen, these Khalistanis are generally in white countries. Rich white countries. They will never go to a country that is white yet poor. Forget about them going to a country that is, non-white. You'll find them in 4 or 5 locations, generally. You'll find them in the US, you'll find them in Canada, you'll find them in Australia, you'll find them in UK. These are 4 places where you'll find 99% of the Khalistanis. There would be a smattering of them in other countries in Europe, but generally these are the 4 countries. Now what is happening is that NRIs are coming together, and a big shout out to my NRI brothers and sisters. So proud of you. A huge Jai Hind, a huge salute to all of you. So proud. You know what happened in Toronto? So the Khalistanis said that we will protest on the 8th, and they said worldwide. When Khalistanis say worldwide protests, it means UK, US, Australia and Canada. That is worldwide for Khalistanis, all right? So there are going to be protests worldwide and against India, etc., etc. Because this Nijjar guy died or something happened to him, whatever. So when they came outside the Indian consulate, what did they find? They found hundreds of NRIs standing with the tricolour. And this surprised the hell out of the Khalistanis. This is what in God's name is happening. We've never seen this before. I just want to tell these so-called Khalistanis, now you'll see these things more frequently. My deepest respects to those guys in Toronto who held the tricolour. My deepest respects, naman to all of you. Naman. Amazing you stood in front of him. Then one Khalistani decided to get adventurous and he ran in slow motion. He ran towards where the NRIs were standing with the tricolour, and suddenly, whoof, comes one slap. The Canadian police guy tackles him to the ground, whap on both the sides, cuffs him and takes him away. The second Khalistani tries, same treatment. And the third does not try. So this is the courage of Khalistanis, right? Khalistanis, their parents or they themselves who went from India, they lied about their mother country, they lied about their motherland, and thankfully they're out. The garbage is out of India. So I'm happy about that, but they lied about India. Just because, they wanted to go to Canada, they wanted to go to a foreign country, a white, rich country. Let me tell you, this whole Khalistan thing is about being in a white and rich country. That's it. That's it. You'll not find Khalistanis in Ukraine. You're not going to find Khalistanis in Albania or some other country. No. Or Russia for that matter. You will find Khalistanis in white, rich countries. That is what the so-called Khalistan is about. Take advantage of democracy, take advantage of free speech, sell the victimhood narrative, take money from the Pakistani ISI and do whatever you wish to do and make money. through bloodshed, through terrorism. They are professional terrorists, these Khalistanis. Anyway, now they've met their match. And so Indians all over the world have slowly decided that enough is enough. When you attack an Indian consulate, when you attack an Indian High Commission or an Indian embassy, you're attacking the soil of India, because that is sovereign Indian territory, and we will stand with our country of origin, we will stand with our motherland India, and we are going to pay you back. Not in the same coin, because the Khalistanis are educated, they are people who have failed class 4th, class 5, and I'll be surprised if they can even write their names. They're a bunch of illiterate goons, drug peddlers, that is what Khalistanis are. And the Indian community, Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, these are highly educated people who have gone from India. They are leaders everywhere. They are the leaders in Canada, they are leaders in the US, in Australia, in UK. You know, they're the cream of society in the sense that education is their superpower. All right? So obviously they cannot stoop down to the level of Khalistanis, you know. You don't start wrestling with pigs in dirt. You don't do that, right? Because the pig will enjoy it and you'll just get dirty. So they're not doing that, but they are peacefully protesting. And I request and I appeal to all NRIs, wherever you are and wherever there is this so-called dirty and filthy Khalistani presence, take them on. Use your political presence, use your money, use your stature in society to take on these Khalistanis. You know, let me give you a military comparison. These Khalistanis are like an air gun, or at their best, a .22 cartridge, which is like this tiny, okay? A .22 cartridge. You, on the other hand, NRIs, you are like a 155 mm Bofors shell. I'm talking about capability. It's a question of intent. It's a question of intent. Today and yesterday, you showed intent in Toronto. And I would like to see the same intent from our NRI brothers and sisters everywhere. That is Indian land. That's all I'm trying to tell you. That High Commission, that consulate, that embassy is India. It is not Canada, Australia, UK or US. No, that is sovereign Indian land. And when the Khalistanis desecrate the flag, they desecrate everything that you and I hold sacred. Because that flag is above religion. That flag is above everything. That is our national flag. And if somebody dares touch that flag with his dirty hands, that person must be made to pay. And you, my NRI brothers and sisters, are going to make that person pay. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking this wonderful first step. Now it's time. Canada has started. Now it's time for the US. It's time for UK. It's time for Australia to start taking matters into your own hands legally. Legally. Always legally. Because there will always be a difference between you, who are productive members of society, and Khalistanis who belong in a dustbin. Actually, they're rubbish. All right? In another news, in France, a 16th century church has been fully burnt to the ground. The protesters, most of them who came from these countries like Syria, like Yemen, like X, Y, and Z, right, who were given refuge in France by the French citizens because the French thought that let us be large-hearted and let us get them in. It is these people who have burnt the church, a 16th century church, just imagine, which is something like 500, 400 years old. They burnt it to the ground. This is nothing but an act of religious hatred. And let me tell you one thing. This entire thing which is happening in France, this entire episode that has happened in France after the killing of that 17-year-old boy or young man, this is entirely based on religious hatred. And there are so many narratives floating around about the Crusades by Maulvis who are egging on these kids and these young people who are burning France to the ground, and most of them don't even know what the Crusades are. But these, some religious teachers, Islamic religious teachers, are egging them on, giving them delusions of jihad, etc., etc. This is happening. It's all over the social media. You can take a look. And this act of attacking a church is nothing but an act of religious aggression. And they'll burn down more churches. They'll burn down more symbols of Christianity. It's happening. It'll happen more and more. We just see. Because when you let... I don't understand. And I have never understood this. And I want to ask Europeans one thing. What is wrong with you guys? Are you mentally okay? What is wrong with you? The Islamic world has fantastic researchers. They have scientists, they have scholars, they have doctors, they have neurosurgeons. They have people who are the best of the best in their fields. You don't invite them in. You don't give them citizenship. You don't honor them. You don't give them respect. Why do you get the riffraff? I don't understand. There are brilliant people in the Arab world. There are brilliant people from the Middle East. Muslims, some of the world's finest doctors. You go to some of the hospitals in UAE, while there are Indians and while there are Europeans also, there are Arab Muslim doctors also there. There are Bangladeshis, there are Indian Muslims, and so many other Muslims who are, great scientists, great doctors, great engineers. You ignore the best of the best and you give citizenship to garbage. I have never understood what is wrong with Europe. Those people, even in their own countries, they basically belonged in prison. And you said, welcome to France or welcome to UK or welcome to whichever country. And now you're suffering. I'm telling you, even today, and let's talk about religion for a minute, okay? Let's talk about religion. If you really want to give citizenship, again, I repeat, there are some brilliant people in the Islamic world. Many brilliant people. Call them. Honor them. Give them houses, give them positions, give them jobs. They will contribute to your society. Don't get this riffraff from any country. Forget about Muslims or Hindus or whatever. Irrespective of religion, don't get riffraff into your country. This is what America does, This is exactly the policy, and this is why I respect America so much, the United States of America. They're very clear who they let. They have no love lost. People say, you must give us refuge in your country, in the United States of America, because you bombed our country. And the US says, yeah, we'll bomb your country again whenever we feel like. But you're not coming in here. Get lost. It might sound cruel to you, but that's the way life functions. And today there are no rights. Rights have been created by the Americans themselves. They're left-leaning people and, all these things which have happened. But otherwise, you don't see such kind of nonsense that is happening in... you try burning a church in America and then you see the repercussions. Everybody's armed here. Everybody's armed in America. There's going to be a war on the streets of America if you do anything like that. And that is why the Americans have the Second Amendment. Europeans have only 2 gears. Either they are in reverse or they are in the 6th gear. That is the problem with Europeans. Either you'll become absolutely so peaceful that people will think you're harmless and they'll walk all over you. Or at the other end of the spectrum, you'll start producing Adolf Hitlers who will burn the world to cinders. You need to find middle ground. You need to be more centrist in your policies. I haven't understood how the Europeans think. All right, and Pakistan says that we will not travel for the World Cup if India insists on a neutral venue for Asia Cup. This is Pakistan Sports Minister Ehsan Mazari, and I don't know what is wrong with Ehsan Mazari. Are you intellectually challenged, or what is wrong with you? And what is wrong with the Pakistani government and the Pakistani cricket administrators? Have you lost it? You don't have... India has written a letter to you. And in that letter, India has clearly said that we will not come to Pakistan. We would prefer a neutral venue. Now, what you need to do, Pakistanis, is shut up. Just keep quiet and respond to India and tell India in form of a letter that, hey, thank you for your letter. It was lovely reading your love-filled letter. Now we, the Pakistani government, say that we will not come to India for the World Cup. That's it. That's the end of the story. Why would you want to complicate a small issue like this? Do you see any people or anybody, some minister in India making any comments like that? No. We have written a letter, that's it. That's the end of the story as far as we are concerned. There was a press conference, there was a letter, that's it. We have told you we are not coming to Pakistan. And what we expect from you is, you tell us you're not coming to India, that's it. Why are you so confused? Why are you so confused? Is it greed for dollars that is getting you to India? Because I know it is. I know for sure that what you want is not cricket, what you want is Indian money, which is why you're saying that, okay, let us come to India. Maybe somebody like a Ramiz Raja will get a commentary contract, or somebody will get this, somebody will. You're hedging your bets. You're saying that, okay, if you don't want to commit, let's wait till the last moment. Let's see what happens. And you know how you're going to cover it up? Very nicely. All in the spirit of the game. The spirit of, it's not spirit, it's money. That's all. You have no spirit about anything at all. You're the same people who burnt your city Lahore, which I think is the second largest city after Karachi in Pakistan. And you're very, very proud of Lahore and often say, Jinne Lahore nahi vekhya and all that nonsense. No. You burnt Lahore because somebody made cartoons of Prophet Muhammad in France. And then you protested and you said, throw out the French ambassador, throw out the French ambassador. Everybody in Pakistan was baying for the French ambassador's blood before somebody told them that there is no French ambassador in Pakistan. And then the Pakistanis suddenly woke up. And they said, no, shut down their embassy and break up all diplomatic ties and all that. This matter settled down after a few days. And after 1 or 2 years, what do we see? We see France giving $300 million US in aid to the Pakistanis, and the Pakistanis greedily accepting aid from the same country that made the Prophet Muhammad cartoons. Same is happening with this Quran burning, Saad Rizvi, the head of the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, says, attack. He says, Army, Navy and the Air Force, I want all the three chiefs to get together with the Prime Minister, call the Swedish ambassador and tell him, we are attacking your country because you desecrated the Quran. Really? You people, you're lining up outside the embassy for visas. And I'm not talking about the common Pakistanis. Okay? I'm not talking about the common Pakistanis. Let me talk about the Ashrafia, the cream of the society of Pakistan. If they are promised Swedish citizenship, they will do the Quran desecration themselves. These are people of such low moral caliber, most of them. That is why their army chiefs settle abroad. Do you think somebody will give a 60-year-old former army chief citizenship and permission to settle in their country unless he has traded secrets or he has benefited the other country in some way? What is his professional qualification? Is he a young doctor? Is he a young scientist? Is he a young engineer? What is he? What is he bringing to the table? I ask you. Let me ask you. Why would, let's say, General Ashfaq Parvez Kiani, former army chief, and I think he was also chief of the ISI, DG ISI, if I remember correctly. He's staying in Australia. What can he give to Australia? What can he give to Australia? Please tell me. I'd like to understand. What can General Kiani give to Australia? And why should Australia say, General Saab, please come and settle in Australia? Pakistanis will say, oh, he's a general from the Pakistan. It doesn't matter to the Australians if you're a general or not. I want to ask you Pakistanis, what do you think your generals traded? What do they have to trade? What in terms of assets do they have to trade so they get permission to settle abroad with their families? How can they do it? Let me tell you. These people trade your nuclear secrets. These people trade your state secrets to be allowed to go and settle in an Australia or a Canada or a UK or a US. That's what they do. Because that is all that they have. They have no expertise. What are you going to do after, General Bajwa retires? Is General Bajwa going to lead the British Army? No, he's useless. He's retired. In the sense of that, he's no longer a soldier. For them, he's useless. So this is what is happening. Now, Saad Rizvi, the head of the Tehreek-e-Labbaik, Pakistan, wants Pakistan to attack Sweden. Just imagine. They'll attack the Swedish embassy asking for visas and asking for a permanent residency in Sweden. That's all Pakistanis can do. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed this video. And if you did, press the like button. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata ki Jai.